Hello, everyone. I'm Esperanza and this is Art from the Heart at St. Augustine Church. And we are still doing our sessions remotely because of COVID-19. So for today, we are going to paint this lovely tiger. And this is very easy to paint, so don't be overwhelmed. We will go through it step by step. So let's start. Again, we need our handy dandy paper and of course, our pencil and our eraser. So let's start. So to do the tiger, the first thing we're going to do is to set some guidelines on the paper. So for the guidelines, I want us to observe this image. What shapes do we see? So what I see here would be a heart that's inverted, a square, and this triangle here, which actually covers this bit of the nose, the two ears, and this part of the face. So we will use that to our advantage in order to create this lovely painting of a tiger. So the first thing I'm gonna do is to draw the inverted heart. So I'm just going to draw an inverted heart. So you might not see this clearly. I'll try to make it a little bit more bold and dark. Oh, lovely. That is lovely. So we now have that heart, which is this one. And the next shape would be that square I've mentioned to you, this part. So here I'm just going to draw a horizontal line and then make that into a square. And then I will locate the middle of this point and this point, like so. And then I'm going to draw a triangle. So just a triangle like so, an inverted triangle, sorry, an inverted triangle. Yeah, so slightly maybe 2 fingers beyond this part of the heart, approximately more or less. I will stop and I will connect this end of this line to this line. So I now have my inverted triangle and I can start drawing the parts of the face. So to do that, I first have to erase everything inside the heart. So I've erased everything inside the heart. Now I'm going to erase everything inside the square. And now I'm going to erase this horizontal line on top of the square. Again, as I mentioned earlier, these are guidelines. So they're not really the drawing itself, but the aim is for them to guide us so that we can do the actual drawing. So now I can start drawing. So here, I will draw a short vertical line, which is about the width of my pencil. And then I will draw a shallow V, which is about 1 inch long on each side. So this to this is about 1 inch and this to this about 1 inch. Again, I say it's a shallow V because the V that we're used to when we write is narrower, like so. So this is shallower. And then at the end, I am going to put a small curve. And guess what? This is going to be the tiger's nose. Now, along this line, I'm going to draw another curve facing the other way. So this one faces this way, so the other one faces the opposite direction. Okay, I think this is too thick. I have to make it a little bit thinner. This one is what we want. Then I'm going to draw a small horizontal line here and a very short vertical line. And that's going to be the nose of the tiger. Now we slowly go up. So to go up, instead of this corner where all these lines intersect, we're going to make this a curved line. So we're going to soften it by drawing a curve. So I am going to erase that intersection like so. Okay, so now we have this one. And then from the intersection here, okay, so this is the original intersection. So this is now the part of the line that intersects the curve. I am going to measure roughly in between them a line, short line going up. Okay. And excuse me. So this short line going up will now be the basis for the eyes. So I'm just going to erase this a little bit like so, maybe halfway or maybe a little bit more because I don't need that line anymore. So this one, okay, straight, then it goes into a curve. So like so, curve. I think that's too wide. So I'm going to make it a little bit narrow. I mean, in terms of its width. And then I'm going to do the same thing here on this side. And this is going to be the upper part of the tiger's eye. So now it's time to do the lower part of the eye like so. And then I'm going to draw a circle in the middle, like so. Perfect. So that's a tiger's eye. Now we move up a little bit now, and we are going to draw the ear. So I start here at the corner of my triangle. I will draw a curved line, like so. And then here, another curved line. And then here, again, beginning at that intersection. And then now I can remove this guideline. I might need to draw the ears again because of the process of erasing the guideline, but that's okay. Oh, and for the eyes, I would need to erase the excess here. There's this line that shouldn't be there. Okay, so now we have the ear. So let me draw the ear again. And then I could still see the line here from the guideline. So I am now going to draw a curve touching that line. So that's the top part of the head. Now, for the lower part of the head, it's just going to be like a circle. So I start here. And then I end here. So let me make that thicker. I'm going to turn it around so that it's easier for me. I know it doesn't look like a tiger yet. It's too round to be a tiger at this point. Okay, but now here below this area, we will erase this. And instead we are going to change that to this. So instead of closing the two curves as part of the circle, the curve would be going out instead, and they will meet here. And that's going to be a little bit pointed. Now here, I just draw a line going down. This is going to be the neck. And then here, same. And then here, like so, that would be for the body. Okay, let me see if I have all the parts. And yes, I do have all the parts ready now. So that means it's time to paint it. So can you see it? I hope you can. Let me just change the orientation. Yes, so you can see it. That's the face of our tiger. Let me put it back on the table. move this. Yeah, so that it's a little bit more centered. And the first color I'm going to use would be yellow ochre. So one of my learners earlier asked, how come I am not painting it with water? And it is because we're just covering small spaces. And for this layer, it doesn't really matter if it spreads evenly. So if you look at this, there are areas with more concentrated color and there is with less concentrated color. And that actually gives it character. So we will not be doing a flat wash for this. Instead, we will be painting it directly on the paper. So we're painting it wet and dry on the paper. There we go. And then here. Again, as you can see, we're not painting it solid, the yellow ochre. So we're painting around the ears. We're going to do the same thing on the other ear, so around the ears. And then we're going to add a few more here. A few more strokes. And then here. And yes, I'm leaving this area white for later on because I would want it to be white because once after we painted it, I want it to look a little closer to the viewer to give it that more three-dimensional effect. So here. Okay, perfect. Everything has been covered. Yeah, here I think. Let me just turn it around. Yes, that is my tiger. I'm very happy with the first layer of color. Now, the next layer of color would be slightly more interesting. It would be orange. Now, the orange will be more intense. And if some areas are wet, we just let it flow. That would make it look more natural. Okay, so here, I start here in the middle, towards the side. Then here again. And here, during the class previously, I asked them to draw an imaginary line. This time we didn't do that, but we are painting the line in orange. So like so. And to soften it, I will just rinse the brush in water and just dab the edges. Or if we have sides which are look too straight like this, too sharp, the straightness is too sharp, we just dab it with water to soften it. Okay, for the nose, I think I need to do a little bit more. Oops, that has gone somewhere I didn't want it to go. That's why I had to lift it with the kitchen towel. Okay. Okay, I'm very happy with it. Now I just have to paint the other areas with orange. By other areas, I mean like this bit below the ear. So if we painted that, we should paint the other side. They don't have to be symmetrical. Here, a line there. Of course, here on the cheeks, it should be a lot of orange here. And also here. And also below the eye. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. So I'm gonna move it a little bit. So here below the eye. And also here on the side of the face. Again, as I mentioned earlier, it doesn't have to be symmetrical. Okay, but just as what we did here on the upper portion, we need to soften the lines. And we assist that by using a wet brush. And we don't soften it everywhere. So we leave some areas with those sharp lines like this, like that. We can maybe even spread it a little bit like so. And then we will now paint this bit with orange. Okay, for this bit, we might need to soften it a little bit more. And that is because it's not the main subject focus. So again, just a wet brush. We just rinse our brush. And by rinse, I don't mean completely cleaning it, but just dipping it into the water and just allowing the excess paint to be washed off and allowing the brush to carry some water with it. Okay, for this, again, we do the same thing. Fantastic. Our tiger is looking good. The next color we need is red. And I would really need a very dilute red. So that's red with lots of water. And I'm going to paint the nose. And we need dilute red because we still need to see the orange. It shouldn't be so opaque. So there we go. Next color will be burnt umber. I already have burnt umber here, mixed from the earlier session. And now we will need this burnt umber to create dimension. So for example, the side of the nose, let's do that here. Okay, I'm gonna dip my brush. Okay. So I paint that with burnt umber just to give it the more 3D effect. Now I am going to do the same here. Just rinse it a little bit. And now I'm going to lift the excess paint. Oh, beautiful. Just beautiful. So here. And I am just going to brush this again to soften it. Maybe lift any excess water so it can dry quickly. So we've done the 3D effect there. I'm going to do that in this area as well. And here. Of course, it's the nose. If we do it on one side, we should do it on the other as well. Oh, that's fantastic. It's looking good. Now, we need to paint parts of the ears. So here, the outer bit. Here again, the outer bit. Again, we need to soften the lines. Rinse the brush. Okay, fantastic. So we've done the ears. Now we're going to paint this part. Again, for the dimension. Because it has to be, this has to look further than this part. So this should be further than this part from the viewer. So again, just soften it with water. Lift any excess paint if it's applicable. And then here we're going to do the same thing. Just this bit. So I am going to apply this here. And this. And here as well. Okay, perfect. Yes, again, just like earlier, soften it. Oh, fantastic. We're doing very well. So now we're almost finished. We're actually almost finished. We are now going to use black, but for this round, it's going to be very dilute black paint. So that means we are going to get a little bit of black paint with lots of water to make it more of gray. So again, this bit is for more of the dimension, the 3D effect that we are trying to do here. So this is not the final part yet. So there we go. Here, here, and of course here. Get darker. This part of the face. Here, the shape. So for this one, I need to rinse my brush and soften it a little bit so it looks like it's spreading more naturally and softer. I'm rinsing my brush and just softening this area. Okay. Okay, I need to soften this as well. Okay, any other areas that needs darkening? Nope. So I just need to do this bit. Okay. And now brush. Okay, so I've just wet my brush. Okay, fantastic. Now we just have to let it dry. So while we're letting the rest of the tiger face dry, let me just get another kitchen towel and it's almost dry. And here I have my kitchen towel with me. I have my original art piece, the tiger, with me. So let me just show you. And here's the art piece I'm doing now. Now for this one, I now need more concentrated black paint. Okay, so we have that. And then I am going to start with the eyes for this one because I do like the eyes. And this area is already dry, so it would be easier for us to do. Okay, perfect. That's lovely. And then we will do the same thing on the other side. Okay, maybe smoothen this a bit. Okay, perfect. So for this one, so now we've done the eyes. It's a good start. Now we will start here on top of the head. So I'm just going to draw a black line on the side of the ear, another black line on the side of the other ear. And then now I am going to draw lines approaching the center. There we go. And then same here on the other side. We draw a little bit of line here. And then from the middle, And then for the ear, I will just continue this dark line. And then here on the other side as well. So let me just draw a line, make that thicker on one end. Okay, looking good. Our tiger is looking good. Now, here, I am going to draw some dark lines as well. Okay, it's bigger than the original, but I kind of like it that way. So here on this side. Okay, perfect. So now we have that upper part. We shall now move a little bit lower, and which is the main forehead. So for the main forehead, I will start here with the middle, and then with the strokes like that, up and down. And I will move from the center going outwards. And then once I finish that side, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So center going outwards. And then the next one, so here I will connect it. And then again, up and down, center going outwards. And then on the other side, center going outwards. I'm gonna follow this a little bit and extend it a little bit over here. And here, on this part, let me put a little bit there. And then let's continue. Okay, I think it's too light in this part, so let me just make this a little bit thicker. Okay, so now, sorry about that. Let me continue. So let me paint this big area here. So that would be here. And then I just, similar stroke as here, up and down, but here, left, right, because it's on the side. And then above it, similarly, a shorter one. And then here, even an even shorter one. And then here under the eyes. So under the eyes, so a line like that, another line. And then again, that zigzag type of stroke. Perfect. So our tiger is on its way. We're getting there. So we've done that side. We want to do the other side as well. So for the other side, so again, strokes left and right because it's on the sides. On the top, it's up and down. So the face is halfway done. So we would now focus on this lower bit. So we will start on the nose for the lower bit. So first we follow the shape of what we drew earlier. So remember the narrow V. So it's a narrow V with the curves on the side. Let me just, oh. And then horizontal line. And then that short vertical line, really short. Now let's make this look more softer, but let's make it look softer by making those look more curved. Okay, perfect. And then we will paint this line black as well. There we go. So we follow this shape. And then paint this. And then around. Broken lines, just broken lines. It's just to define that shape. And then when we're finished doing that, we can now paint the rest of it. So for this one, this area, like so. And then here, similarly. And here below. So that shape there. Okay, fantastic. So we're almost done with that bit. So I'm going to paint this area black. Again, still with the same type of brush strokes, up and down to create that unique shape. And then I'm going to move a little bit down here. So just like that. Okay, and then here, another one. And then I'm going to do the same thing here on this side. So like that. And then also here. And here, slightly lower. Now, what else is missing? There's still something missing here. Yes, the dots here. So this is where the whiskers grow. So let me just outline the shape. And we will follow this outline. So let's do that. So this is the main one. And then on the other side, this is the main one. Let me check. Okay, I do need to a little bit more black paint there. And the only thing missing now would be the background. So we've done our tiger, and they're not exactly the same, but of similar looks. And we did that intentionally by creating similar lines, but not exactly the same. So the variation actually results depending on the shape of the eyes, of course, and also the shape of the lines. For example, for this one, there's more black paint on the other one. So here, more black paint here as compared to this one. So that's our tiger. Oh, for this one, for the original one, we did the background glass, which is made of flat wash and some green and burnt umber. So that's green. And then we put a few strokes of burnt umber. But for this session, we're just doing the tiger. So I hope you enjoyed it. And for the next session, we will be moving on to another theme. We will be moving to flowers and other landmarks. So hopefully you enjoyed the session so far, and I hope to see you again next time. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.